Play yourself, Mortal Kombat 2. It's that time of year again. It's Halloween, and I got something for you again. Another project or two, and twice the fun as last year. Now, instead of a music video, I'm going to open up another way. Oh, hello there. May I help you? Do I know you? This little skeleton thing is telling me to follow it. Wait a minute. Skinny? No, it couldn't be. Well, welcome back. Happy Halloween. We all know about the 1997 series King of the Hill. It is still airing on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim block, but I encountered something dark with this series sometime in late 2007. I was in a Goodwill store buying some Nintendo 64 games, because that store normally had a good stock of retro games. However, I strolled over to the VHS section in the back, just then remembering that I owned a VCR. One of the first things I saw was the Titanic VHS tapes, the one that came in 2 tapes but it was in 1 dust cover. I thought that it would be a good movie for me and my wife, as she had never seen it before. To make sure that the tapes worked, I took one of them out of the dual VHS dust cover, only to see something unexpected. It was a VHS tape with a crooked sticker on it. Written in Sharpie was KOTH S1E1NR. I inspected the other tape, and it said KOTH S1E1NR P2, which I figured it meant part 2. I don't know why one 22 to 23 minute episode took 2 VHS tapes, but I was curious. I bought them for $2.22. So I got home, and I was the only one there. So I took up the painstaking process of uncoiling the stiff coax cables in the bulky VCR. I soon turned the TV to channel 3, and began viewing KOTH S1E1NR. Short for King of the Hill, Season 1, Episode 1, unaired. It had the regular opening of the first episode of King of the Hill, but without the music. It was just a silent camera panning over the city of Arlen. It began normally after that, with Bobby at the baseball game and Hank yelling at him. As we all know, Bobby did not succeed. And this is where everything started getting weird. On the ride home, Hank, Peggy, and Bobby were completely silent, and it went on for about 3 minutes. No one was angry, no one had any expression, actually. Abruptly, as the family pulled into the driveway, it cut to a scene inside the house. Hank was yelling at Bobby for not giving the 110%, and then Hank picked up the baseball and got into a throw-in position. At this point, the video quality was getting very scraggly, and the volume level was raised roughly 10%. Hank pegged the ball, and it hit Bobby's nose. Peggy was seen in the background crying, and Hank simply told her to shut the hell up. Bobby immediately cupped his nose and ran out of the room, crying the whole way. As Bobby was in the bathroom checking his nose, a social worker came to the door. Peggy greeted him as Hank sat on the sofa, relaxing as if nothing happened. From this point, the colors began to look more like the real episode. The scene with Hank telling the social worker off like it did in the real episode. Suddenly, the scene from the officially aired episode cut to another scene, which was not from the real episode. It was a scene with more ragged video, yet the audio remained the same. This scene depicted Peggy sitting on the phone late at night, most likely contacting child services to tell them about how Hank purposely threw the ball at Bobby. Hank walked in through the doorway, and he was in a bathrobe and had no glasses. He grabbed the phone. "Who the hell is this?" Hank yelled. "This is the Department of Child Services," was the response. And Hank's face quickly turned red, and he slammed the phone back on the wall and grasped Peggy by the neck. "You're gonna get more of them twig boys over here to put me in prison and take my boy away?" he howled. The scene cut to Hank taking Peggy by the back of the neck, down the hallway to the backyard. Hank took the propane tank off the grill and shoved the valve into Peggy's mouth. The video then went silent for a minute, simply showing the propane valve in Peggy's mouth. When the scene started moving again, Peggy's eyes slowly closed and a voice was heard.
Buck Strickland, forgive me for using propane for this.
The problem was that when Hank said this, he didn't sound like Mike Judge, who was the creator of the show who voiced Hank and Boomhauer. It sounded like an older and deeper voice. The screen went black after this. I fast-forwarded through the rest of the tape to make sure there was no more content on it. There was none. I just thought to myself, why so much wasted space? And at this point I was really shaken up. I went to grab a coffee, and I got back, I popped in the second tape. It was just a black screen. I fast-forwarded to check for content, and eventually came across some stuff that's starting to scare me. So after about 10 seconds or so of a black screen, the next part of the episode finally loaded up, and it set at a funeral where there were very few colors. There were only various forms of gray and black, and the colors of people's faces. It just didn't seem like a real King of the Hill episode, not one bit. The funeral was for Peggy, of course. Attending it was all Hill's neighbors, including some acquaintances such as Cotton and John Redcorn. Even Hank was there, claiming that Peggy had committed suicide. As Peggy's coffin was lowered into the hole, it faded into an overhead view of it being lowered. Now this part really scared the shit out of me. It was a somewhat highly realistic image of Peggy in the coffin. The reason I say somewhat is because it looked real, but it still appeared to be drawn and not a real person. It was just a realistic cartoon. Then the scene cut to Bobby, Hank, and Ladybird sitting on a porch. Bobby had a queasy face and Hank had one hand on the propane tank that he had used to commit the murder. Bobby turned to his father.
Why did you do it, Dad?
He asked in a humble voice.
I don't know, son,
Hank responded. He almost sounded like he was crying. He then stood up and walked inside, leaving Bobby and Ladybird, who were still on the porch. It once again cut to a very dull scene, with nothing but black, gray, and the skin colors. It was a scene that literally made me sick to my stomach. It was Hank, hanging from the ceiling with a note pinned on him. Just stayed focused on him, swinging back and forth for 2 minutes or so. And then it cut to the ending credits, with a normal outro and theme music. I was actually kind of laughing on the inside of the fact that the show was playing the regular ending credits after all that stuff happened. I was really more confused and creeped out at it. I went on some forums and found nothing about this episode. However, I came across someone on Yahoo Answers who had similar occurrence as me. They received a similar tape at a thrift shop in John Street County in North Georgia, a place about 20 miles away where I got mine. I managed to get on AIM with this person, but I got no answers. I was really curious at this point, so I drove about 40 miles and went right down to Cartoon Network Turner Broadcasting headquarters. I knew that Fox Broadcasting made the show, but I had assumed that Cartoon Network had every episode on record, so they aired them all. Beforehand, I did some research and I figured out who was in charge of broadcasting King of the Hill, so I found a receptionist in the studio and I demanded to talk to him. Apparently though, I needed a guest pass of some sort. I was completely pissed at this point, so I drove back home and put on my old sheriff's uniform. I was a sheriff for John Creeks County about 3 years ago, and I went back, and although it is unlawful, I used my badge to talk to him. When I got in his office, he was just sitting at his desk, talking on his phone, and I walked up to him and threw the tapes on his desk and demanded answers. He dropped the phone immediately and grabbed the tapes. I followed him to another office on the other side of the building. There was a small safe in this office. He opened it up, put the tapes in, and locked it. He then told me to leave. I didn't want to act like a sheriff anymore because I didn't want to get in trouble with the law, so I left. I went home and I flipped on the TV. Adult Swim was on, and so was a real King of the Hill episode. To this day, there are only 2 copies of this episode on 4 tapes that I can find anything about online anyway. One of them I assume is still locked up at Cartoon Network Studios, and you might come across more of these tapes throughout thrift shops in the southeast. Hope you like my Spidey jacket. Had it since 7th grade. Well, it was pretty warm out this morning, but now it's so cold that Sub-Zero can go skinny dipping. Anyway, I got another creepypasta for you. I'm gonna read you. NES Godzilla. Alright. When I was a little kid, the two things I loved the most in life were Godzilla and NES games. So naturally, when Godzilla Monster of Monsters came out, it was like a dream come true. Well, almost. To sum it up, most of the game revolved around getting through very repetitive outer space levels, while smashing up jets and tanks, and then fighting against Godzilla's monster enemies. Overall, it was pretty mediocre, but back then I didn't care. When I got the game as a present for my 10th birthday, I played it night and day as much as I could. Unfortunately, I had traded the game for Noggin a year later. I hope I'm saying that right. Much to my regret, when I found out what the game was really like. Recently, I had bought a new NES system, and through a lot of hunting and asking around, unfortunately, I had traded the game for Noggin a year later. Much to my regret when I found out what the game was really like. Recently, I had bought a new NES system. Through a lot of hunting and asking around, my friend Billy managed to find a copy of Godzilla Monster of Monsters. I was pumped to play my favorite childhood game. It never even occurred to me to ask where Billy had found it. He also gave me some other games like Legend of Zelda, Bomberman, and some stupid thing called Action 52, but Godzilla had to come first. So I started the game, and nostalgia came flooding back like a tidal wave. Godzilla's 8-bit theme song flooded proudly through the speakers, and I was soon grinning like an idiot. Some people laugh at me for playing such outdated games, but I've never had as much enjoyment for any games other than those on the NES. Those 8-bit games take me back to when things were much more simpler, safe. But after what's happened with this game, I don't have those feelings. I'd forgotten how quick the fun of smashing things with Godzilla wore off. Scrolling levels, the game bombards you with bullets and things crashing into you from every direction, but you're too big to avoid most of them. Although my excitement had worn down some, it wasn't long at all before I got to my first boss battle. My first opponent was Ghidorah, an obscure squid kaiju who had never once been in a Godzilla movie. The most annoying thing about fighting Ghidorah is that he always backs you into a corner and starts smacking you with his tentacle, and you're unable to move until he gets off you. This move doesn't do any damage, but it can stall you until the timer runs out and you have to start the fight over, and to regain some health. It's as annoying as it sounds, and of course, he did it when I fought him. Only for some reason, this caused the game to glitch up, because once he started smacking me, he never stopped, and the timer is supposed to end the fight in about 40 seconds. But this lasted for nearly 5 whole minutes. After a while, the graphics started to mess up, with little red blocks all over the place, which was weird. But I just took the game out, blew on it, and started again. I was not going to let a little glitch stand in my way. So I started again, and this time defeated Ghidorah and the level's other boss monster, Magara, without any problem. So then it was on to the next planet. Mars. I browsed around the board and found something unexpected, where Varen's piece should have been. There was instead a piece representing Titanosaurus. There are only 10 kaiju in the game, and Titanosaurus was not one of them. Or so I thought. Perhaps Titanosaurus was originally intended to be in the game, but swapped out with Varen for some reason. So I began to feel very excited. Not only was I playing my favorite game, but I was playing a prototype of some sort with a new monster. Needless to say, I ran through those levels as fast as I could to see Titanosaurus in action. Fought Godzilla again and beat him before he could do his tentacle smack, but this time the glitch started happening when he died. Godzilla's sprite didn't sink to the bottom, but instead seemed to be devoured by the glitch. And his eyes started randomly spawning all over the screen. I now know that these glitches with Godzilla were my first warning sign for something was very wrong with this game. But I ignored it, and I proceeded on to fight Magura, who this time had a glitch of his own. Magura was twice the size he should have been, which startled me. Holy crap, look at that. He was also considerably harder to beat than usual, which is not to say not at all. Which is to say not at all. But soon I had defeated him also, and when he died, yet another glitch happened. This happened extremely fast, so I was lucky to get a screen cap of it all. But what happened was that the giant Magura sprite began to shatter and melt. Also, if you look at the garbled text in the right corner of the screen, you'll notice what appears to be a bird in a cage. I still have no idea what that meant. At this point, I was about to fight Titanosaurus, and I was worried as to what kind of glitches would happen this time. But to my surprise, Titanosaurus looked fine. Although all of the game's bipedal monsters were the same height, Titanus was a bit taller. But since Titanosaurus was Titanosaurus actually was taller than Godzilla in his film debut, I thought this was kind of cool. After a very fun fight with a monster who wasn't supposed to be in the game, I proceeded not to Jupiter like normal, but instead to Pathos.
Talk, precious one.
Alrighty, hope you enjoyed the first half of the Halloween special. Now we're going to take a little break. Hopefully there won't be no more Guy Fawkes men interrupting us this time. And another thing, the Phantom is dead.
Ha ha ha! Now that's finger looking good. Mmm. A little spice on it. Mmm.
One moment, please. Choose your destiny. They'll all need a little work.
My turn. I'm walking out with my jeans. Don't you see the fat guy with the jeans? Oh no, somebody call 911. This fat boy run out of some jeans. The police are after me. I'm not gonna be screwed here. Unless I can run faster, but I can't because I'm too fat. I didn't steal any jeans. Have a happy Halloween. And now for what I do best.
I'd eat ice cream all through the night, all through the night, all through the night. I'd eat ice cream all through the night, and as a result, I got diabetes. If you want diabetes, you want diabetes, you want diabetes, eat ice cream. If you want diabetes, you want diabetes, you want diabetes, eat apple pie. Eat all the ice cream in Hyrule. Eat all the ice cream in Gamelon. Eat apple pie in the morning. Get diabetes and die. Well, eat all the ice cream in Liberty.
The sun is down, and it's the most wonderful time of the year. It's Halloween. And just for you guys, I'm gonna put on the mask.
Hey, big chungus, trick or treat. Get over here!
And buy a Jack Skellington doll.
bill is $2.96.
You supposed to be a loaf of bread?
Evening, officer. It's party time. Snooze.
So what you're about to see here is what we caught on the table camera out in this guy's backyard just a while ago. Earlier today, I had received multiple phone calls about a deranged trick-or-treater, in which it turned out to be something even scarier. Well, inside, he was in fact a trick-or-treating lunatic. This case here turned out to be a case of paranormal activity. In fact, possibly a bit above that. He turned out to be a creation in a demon's hand, and he had intentions to carry out orders of some sort. Based on the tracks, I've speculated that he was here to claim more souls and turn them into his own kind. Wouldn't be the first time I dealt with crap like this, and I'm sure it won't be the last either. Some are better than others. Other times you get, well, phantom spawn. Unfortunately for him, but lucky for us, I spread holy water across the yard. Not only is this guy's yard blessed now, but well, watch and see for yourself. You just wait and see.
A security camera. Hello. I'm here. Happy Halloween from hell. Prepare for a surprise this Halloween, 'cause it's not about Borona. It's about vengeance ordered by the great Malbolgia. He remade me and gave me such amazing power. Power that I used to steal some souls, and it made it much easier to break into Surround Productions' feed. The Anonymous didn't have to this time. That's right. You know who I am. I've killed many people on this horrifying day. More souls to make Hellspawn. It's a sad reality that lots of people are going to hell. But now, I am unstoppable. I ceased from life twice. I cannot die anymore. Allow me to orchestrate your eternal damnation. Darkness is no more. All that's left is hell.
Hold it right there.
And you are?
This here's the CPD.
Ah, yes, the boys in blue. Don't you remember me, Ryder?
No, but I recognize your tracks as Hellspawn.
Indeed I am. Once I was a mortal man. Allow me to kickstart your memory.
Oh, Phantom. Well, I can't arrest you, but I can send you straight back to hell where you come from.
You will kneel before Malbolgia.
Nuh-uh, I'll kneel before one god.
Then you will die.
Well, bring it on then, you ghost nub little meow meow.
Is that your best?
I'll do it again if you want.
Go ahead. I am here for a reason. To carry out Malbolge's bidding. And there will be no werewolf or policeman to stand in my way. Ouch! What the hell? You covered the ground in holy water. How?
I went and poured it on the ground while you weren't looking, you moron. Why don't you go right on back from where you came from, or you'll be killed dead. If you don't comply, I'm gonna blow your head clean off and eat the squeezins for breakfast.
Never!
Suit yourself then. Have it your way. Just wait and see. I'll fix your wagon. The heck? The same here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the conclusion to the Surround Productions Halloween Special 2. Hope you enjoyed it. 1 of 2, 2 of 3. Now before these people who haven't ever heard of Thanksgiving once in their life start deciding to get their Christmas decorations out, let's have a happy Halloween. You know, I wonder what I'm gonna do this Thanksgiving. Oh, come on! Jesus, cut me a break!
I'll be coming after you, pumpkin guy, right after I finish some dinner.